The Mexico City Diablos are now on the clock. Okay, Reed is now off the board, Adam. Tell us what you know.
A consistent performer his entire college career, he went out on a high note in his final game, recording 3 interceptions and being named the player of the game. General managers have been simply drooling over the opportunity to draft him, with one telling me he's as close to a sure thing as there is in this draft. He'll have plenty of opportunity to showcase his coverage skills this season, as he'll likely line up against some of the NFL's most elite wide receivers.
Ravens going with Crosby here.
Sometimes an overall 40-yard time taken at face value can be misleading, and here's a good example why. At his pro day, you might have thought that he ran the same time as he did at the combine. But if you look at the split times, he was significantly quicker in the 10 and 20-yard splits than he was previously. His top-end speed is still roughly the same, but what he was able to show was a quicker burst off the line, something that's valued on any position down in the trenches. His quicker first step helped him rise a bit over some of the other defenders and be taken with this pick.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
One of the more underrated aspects of the Combine are the player interviews. I spoke with a handful of NFL scouts and GMs to get a feel for who stood out for better or worse, and his name came up almost every time. One GM even put a grade on the interview, giving him a solid A+. The number one thing I heard about him was how well spoken he was and how he showed his football intelligence on every answer. Some teams even had him use the board to chart some plays, and he did so flawlessly. A lot of GMs would love to have a locker room full of guys like him, so it's no wonder he was just drafted. Now we just need to see if he can really play or if his charisma and intelligence got him farther than it should have.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam Schefter now. He's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
He was the recipient of a Hail Mary pass that went down as one of the biggest moments in college football this season. What Matt Miller told me was it sounds like he should get all the credit for it. As he described it, he did exactly what a coach wants his receiver to do in that kind of situation. He kept his eye on the ball as he ran downfield, boxed out the defenders in his area, and finished with an athletic, leaping grab. We knew he was one of the better receivers in college, and that play basically showed us why. This team just added a potential offensive weapon to its arsenal, and I look forward to seeing what he can do on Sundays.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. Now that he's just been picked up, Adam, what can you tell us about Lee?
Many draft experts speculated that the rigors of his college career were catching up with him and that his struggles were a result of playing through several nagging injuries and not an issue of talent drop-off. After some time off, he impressed with his raw numbers at the Combine, giving more than one GM confidence that his series of struggles was nothing to worry about. He'll likely be given the opportunity to challenge for the starting spot, making him someone to keep a close eye on throughout training camp and the preseason.
The Colts are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
Like football, rugby's a sport that's played with guys of all shapes and sizes. In his case, he was one of the big guys pushing and pulling blocks in the center of the pitch. He was playing rugby for a university in Australia before he was recruited to transfer and play football for 2 seasons here in America. His first year was spent adjusting to the game, getting used to the different rules and how to play his position properly. The guy even had to adjust how he tackled now that he had to wear pads and a helmet. But his second year is really where we started to see what he could potentially do. He's a physical player at the line of scrimmage. The team was able to pick up a good addition to its line with a bit of an interesting history.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Mexico City Diablos are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam Schefter, who has more to say about the Diablos' spicy pick.
After he set a team record for pass completions in a game, his draft stock couldn't have been any higher. Showing tremendous pocket presence, vision, and throwing accuracy, multiple GMs felt as if he had all the makings of a franchise quarterback. Now he'll have a chance to take his gunslinger mentality to the next level with his new coaching staff, hoping it translates to NFL success.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
He's off the board now, Adam, so tell us what you know about Spencer.
He always flashed the potential to be a playmaking defensive back in college, but scouts never saw that ability during the offseason. He didn't look confident catching the ball in reaction drills, and when he did, it took a second before he turned and ran downfield. He has the tools to be a good defender in this league, but he may not be the impact player people thought he would be immediately. We'll see if he can ever develop into that for this team.